I just want to talk about loss and heartbreak. Because at some point of life, we're all going to experience it. You can say it's a universal experience. And I don't mean just relationships. I don't mean just, your partner, your significant other. Because, friends, family, doesn't have to be that. It can just be them moving on with their life and you just moving on with yours. As that's what happens in life. Sometimes you just separate, you drift apart, and it's like, wow, those good times did happen, but they're gone. They're gone now, and you kind of have to move on from that. From a young age, I'd say I was around 12 to be certain. I used to have thoughts of like my parents and family just passing away. It wasn't the best idea, but I was only 12, and it was hitting me like there was no other thing like that mattered at that moment. It was the fact that it's like, at some point they will leave, same as I will. How will I live with that? And dealing with that loss, how would I move on forward? And that was something that truly just was deeply etched in my brain. How would I be okay with that? Will I ever be okay with that? And it hasn't happened yet, thankfully. And I don't think I ever will be ready, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's something you can ever prepare for. So, in the unwanted time that it happens, it'll happen, and hopefully I have other people around me that just support me through that tough time. And that was truly something I had to face growing up, just in my adolescence. The fear of people leaving, or just death in a way too. And I found that interesting because it's like, I don't know, I don't feel like that was like an average level or idea of what a kid should have. So the fact that my mind took me there is like, wow. And I remember being burdened by that thought, because I used to go to church with my mom, right? And I wasn't the most interested in it, but I just remember those thoughts would sometimes just pop in. And the pastor's wife came in, because we used to have this like classroom for the kids, right? And I can't remember what's it called. And I remember that, one day we were just talking, the pastor's wife comes in and she said something to me. I can't remember what, but I just started crying, bawling my eyes out. And she said, it's okay, because I remember saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to see anyone else die. She's like, it's okay, And that memory stuck with me. That stuck with me. I still remember it to this day. And of course I'm holding a little bit back just because it's something very personal to me, and I don't know if I do want to share it. But that's mainly the main point. I just remember that happened, and I'm like, But even so, with loss, it's like, in a way, time can heal wounds if you give it attention and grieve over it. That's what I realized. You kind of have to grieve over loss, missing out. You grieve over it. You don't hold yourself back. You just let it all out. And the pain will still most likely be there. I won't doubt it. I won't ever doubt that the pain would disappear like that, but it won't be as sharp. It won't be as painful as when it first happened, or the pain you're going through right now. And I guess that comes with a sort of maturity and accepting this. That, not everything lasts forever. And you kind of make peace with it. And sometimes you may forget that not everything is gonna last forever, not everything is gonna stay the same, not everyone is gonna be here right now. So you kind of just take moments for granted. I do that. I can't deny it. I do that for certain. And I sometimes I have to bring my awareness back. Like, let me just enjoy this. You know, let me set some time aside to spend with some family, some friends. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, life and death happens, and then but what really matters is what's in between it. You know, what happens through that life. Because there's birth and death, but what's in the middle? And how do you choose to live what's in that middle? So it's like, you know, when that time comes, hopefully, you know, we are able to just grieve and let ourselves feel. Because that was a problem I think we have now. It's like we don't allow ourselves to feel. We don't want to allow ourselves to grieve, because it's like, oh, some people might think I have to suck it up. I have to keep pushing. Like, nah, give yourself time. Give yourself time and space to grieve. And I feel like that's that repression that we have, that we just carry on and carry on and carry on, and you know, it burdens us. It weighs on us. It weighs on our shoulder until, you know, one day it has to be let out somehow. That bottle is just gonna explode. It can only take so much. So, you know, as much as I wish, you know, we could not feel that pain, I think it's a part of existing. I think it's a part of existence, and realizing that every individual life is beautiful. Every moment we have is beautiful. And even though it may not last forever, that's what makes it beautiful, you know. And even just on like relationships, right? It's like trying to find love. You can't find love. You can't run at love. You can't grab love. Like, no, it just happens. That's like the same thing for happiness. You can't chase happiness. You can't, you know, chase that. It's not something to be attained. It's just something that happens, or something that becomes, you know. Love, just, you spend time with people, you really just enjoy spending time with them. Over time you get an understanding of each other, and, you know, love might happen. Or even in terms of happiness, it's like you do things that you enjoy, but first you have to figure out what you enjoy. You know, you try things out, you do test experiments for the scientific kind of way of looking at it, and guess what? Oh, that feels good. I like that. Let me continue, you know? Or it's something I always wanted to try. Let me try it. Why not? Oh, I really enjoy it. Let me stick with it. And it's in a sense where it's like, it just happens. It really just happens. You just figure stuff out along the way. The more you try, the more you figure out, the more you know what you like and don't like. That's it. So it's like, when it comes to love, you know, I'm not the most experienced. I'm not. I can say that for certain. I'm not. But I'm just saying what's on my mind and what I've known and what I've gone through. You know, in terms of relationships, it's like, you can't force a relationship. You can't force anyone to like you. You can't force it. It just has to happen. You know, it has to be a mutual agreement in a way, mutual understanding and a mutual affection. And, you know, I guess sometimes it feels like we had the right person, but it was the wrong time. Like, we weren't in the right place for each other. We weren't in the right headspace mentality, but the person you were with was amazing. You know, maybe in the future you can have something going, as long as you ended things on calm terms. You know, nothing where you completely burn the bridge. Then by all means it's possible. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind it's also not possible. You may just have to move on and find someone else, as there's so many different connections to be made. There's so many different people, and it's like, if it's already ended, and, you know, there's no chance of going back. It's like you're trying to look back and hold yourself back from seeing what's right in front of you, seeing the opportunities in front of you. Not even opportunities, but people right in front of you. You don't see them as them. You see them as a I guess replacement of sorts. So, you know, I guess there's another thought too. It's like I thought I had the right one, but come to find out it didn't work out. You know, we weren't meant to be. And that's also entirely possible. Wasn't meant to be. But things might not always work out. It may not appear as it seems. You know, things seem so great at the beginning. You see the best side of each other, and over time you come to realize, you know, I don't know if this is gonna work. And that causes pain. Can't lie. It may cause some sort of pain. The pain that, man, I wish it would have worked out. Or even just the pain with just realizing like they aren't the right one. You know? And I'd say that hasn't happened to me. I'd say more of the first one happened to me, like the right person, wrong time. You know, there's been, you know, people I've talked to in my life, and it's like they're amazing people, quality people I've had in my life, but I just wasn't in the right space to be in a relationship. Even now, I don't think I'd be in the right space to be in a relationship. I don't know if I could truly take that on right now. I don't think I can. I don't think I will for the moment. In the future, maybe. But at the same time, I'm not cutting myself off entirely. If it happens, it happens. I guess it all comes down to just accepting the loss, the change. Because one thing I realized about it is, if you're in a relationship and things end, it's like, for some people, they spend a lot of time together, so it's like they have so much time to see, you know, what do I do now? I used to spend 6 hours a day with them. Now it's like I'm just here by myself. What do I do about that? You know, you can take time to reflect on things, of course, nothing's wrong with doing that. Then at the same time, you just kind of gotta accept life and just do new things, continue living life, as hard as it may seem for the moment, because you're so burdened by the pain. Take some time, you know, feel the feelings and continue about life. You know, if they come back, they come back. If you want to take them back, go ahead. You know, and I feel as if we have to accept that. We have to accept, you know, if it doesn't work out, give myself time, give myself space to feel that, give myself time to grieve, and, you know, figure out what to do with that time. Because that's another thing, like, after you spend so much time with someone, it's like seeing them is so regular. Seeing them is like just, you don't think about it at some point, but then when they're gone, it's like, wow. Like, you see the impact they had on you. You see the mark they left on you. You see how much has changed and how much will change because of that. And just accept it, acknowledge it, and just take care of yourself. And hopefully others are there that will look after you too. Because I believe, I will still say, you know, to the death of me, community and people, having people around you who care, you know, genuinely care, matters. You know, I think that affects the quality of our life. It makes our life better. You know, as sometimes I do wish that, you know, things like this were kind of taught and shown, like how to run a relationship, how to have conflict management skills, how relationships should, you know, in a way work. I wouldn't say necessarily a one size fit all, but just some boundaries and understandings of ourselves and how to, you know, connect with people and talk things through. Because the arguing, the bitter fighting, that I can't deal with that. I'm gonna be honest. it pains me when it's like someone doesn't have the skills or doesn't realize that there's better ways of going about a disagreement or something like that. And also, it's another thing where it's like people won't be open to different opinions now, especially online. That's the main part I see. You know, what's it called? Not a vacuum, but it's the space where it's like everyone has the same opinions, everyone has the same ideas and ideologies, and it's like you're in that circle, and if you're out of that circle, they don't like you, or they don't even care to interact. And it's like that separation, and where it's like we need different views, we need different perspectives, we need different ways of seeing things. Because if we're so stuck in one way, we stagnate and we create more problems than we solve. Because just even so, that ego or that idea that I know everything, I believe this is right, what you say is wrong, that creates problems and friction. So having a open mentality, or even so an understanding one where you're both able to just kind of discuss everything, talk everything out, is helpful. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to go off there, as I believe that's all that comes to my mind for the moment. That's about it. You know, let's see, hopefully, you know, I learn more in people in my life, you know, adapt and grow. I guess one other thing I kind of want to talk about is like people change over time, you know, people change, and you have to be willing to accept that change. As you change, your partner changes, hopefully you can accept the changes that happens, you know, because if we're being honest, it's like, if you're watching this, it's kind of like self-improving kind of, so it's like that requires change, and you know, as you change, hopefully your partner accepts who you're becoming, and maybe they might decide to change some things about themselves too, and you have to be accepting and open to that. As I believe that's how the relationship grows. You know, it's not we were the same person 10 years ago and we're, you know, having the same kind of relationship. I feel as if adding things in your life that is different or spices things up is like impactful. That's the word I want to use. It's impactful. It's like not the same thing every single day. It's like, yo, all right, let's go try this. Let's add some flair to the life, to the relationship. But okay, right there, that's where I'm gonna just leave it off, honestly. Thank you.